got like the teen mom, like backpack of Cliff Bars, Gatorade, and water for everyone.
So then I'm gonna have to find you this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Be like, Matt,
Yeah.
where's my water?
Exactly.
Make sure there's a bendy straw in it. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me back on my channel today for another episode of No Coin Drop Required. I'm really excited because today we're going to be talking about homebrews. No, I'm not talking about homebrew beers. I'm talking about homebrew pinball. Today, my guest is Matt Benzik, aka Benzik, and we are going to be diving into what is the community of homebrew pinball. So for those of you who don't know about it, today's episode is going to be a real treat because I can tell you I learned so much by talking to him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Well, welcome. I'm gonna say Matt first. Welcome, Matt. but I'm to call you Benzik because, like we talked about, there were three Matts when you were in high school, and you were all Matt B. So you were forever glorified as Benzik moving forward. So thanks so much for joining me today and taking the time on a beautiful Saturday. I don't know about you up in Michigan, but the sun is shining really nicely here.
It is gray and gloom, but you know, it's all right. It's Michigan in the spring. This is what we sign up for.
Well, I feel like Michigan's weather is probably similar to Ohio in that most of the time it's probably gonna snow tomorrow, you know, and then it'll be 70 degrees and then it'll snow again because of course it doesn't stop snowing until like May, but which we got snow a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago, and I think you guys got more than we did from what my coworkers were telling me.
We had an inch stick for about 6 hours 2 weeks ago or something. Like, yeah. But I went to college in the Upper Peninsula, so this is nothing to me.
Oh.
I look at outside and I'm like, oh, this, like, when is it gonna be winter? And there's like 6 inches on the ground. I'm just like, yeah, can we get to like real winter, please?
So the UP is definitely something that has always been on my like to go and visit list because I've heard that it's absolutely beautiful.
It is like the Pacific Northwest, but shorter and cheaper.
How do you figure that?
Well, all the outdoor magazines, because if you look at pictured rocks, it looks like, you know, the rock formations of Washington State, Oregon, but shorter. The climate is similar, and you know, it's got just so much outdoor activities. All the outdoor magazines go, if you can't afford the Pacific Northwest, go to the UP because no one lives up there and it's cheap. Like, you can get a house in Houghton, Michigan, where I went to school, for, you know, pennies on the dollar compared to like in Metro Detroit, but you have to put up with 200 to 300 inches of snow a year.
And being in the middle of nowhere as well. So it's actually
also in the most beautiful part of the Midwest. Like, it's seeing the northern lights is like, I'm completely jaded by it because I'd be leaving the theater at 3 a.m. after a tech and like just hating my life, look out the window of my truck and go, oh hey, the northern lights.
I guess that would be very calming. I didn't know that you could see the northern lights in the UP.
So it's really cool that when you do see them, like the larger storms, if you're super north, like I had friends in Alaska, which they're used to seeing like the reds, like the really deep into the spectrum, but their solar storms would die out so quickly. You know, they would be, you know, on off. Whereas in the UP, if we get a solar storm that comes down that low, you know, they're going for 2 to 3 hours. So you could just be sitting up there, and there's so little light pollution that, you know, even if they're not the most vibrant, you can still see them, and it's just like, wow, this is something else.
Now, you said you went to school up there, and I know of one place that, one of the pinball places up there is the Yooper Pinball. They're pretty much in Wisconsin, though, because they're all the way up there now. How long have you been playing pinball?
I started playing pinball 3 years ago.
Okay, so you didn't have a chance to really explore to see if there was any places that were up there that...
No, unfortunately not. It wasn't until I was a year out of college that I like really started to like pinball, and even then I wasn't like playing it. I just bought a machine and started researching it incessantly, and then restored that machine, and then bought another, and now I'm up to like 10, and 5 of them work.
I can see one behind you that looks like it's in pieces.
Yeah, that's Motor City. That's my homebrew.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of the big things I wanted to talk to you about is this homebrew that you've been doing. Now, I don't know how much you've like divulged and how much you're sharing, but I know you've been
public on the whole thing.
Yeah. How long have you been working on it?
How long have I? So over my shoulder, there's a frame here. That was the first sketch of Motor City that I did probably about 2 years ago. I live in the Metro Detroit area, just outside of Marvin's, and
okay.
And which I know you plugged Marvin's before, but if you have a chance and you're in the Midwest, go to Marvin's. It's awesome.
I'm gonna plug it again. I'll make sure that I do a little clip to that video that you can watch to see a little bit what it is, and definitely when everything gets opened back up, it is a must go to because it's absolutely amazing.
Yes. And there's a cool brunch spot that had bottomless mimosas, and so I went to the cool brunch spot, got feeling pretty good on mimosas, came home and put on Pandora, and the first thing that played was I think one of the Offspring songs that's in Crazy Taxi.
Okay.
And it had like the Jake blues in the back of the church moment of the light shining down on me, seeing the light that I needed to make a Crazy Taxi spiritual successor pinball machine. And then, I just started sketching and like wrote out some rules, and I can send you a picture of it if you're interested. Just like what I thought the layout should be, and that was like the first like iteration of it. And then from there it went, well, Sega still develops, or Sega Capcom, whoever owns Crazy Taxi now, still develops Crazy Taxi, and they didn't do too well in pinball. They kind of like went bankrupt in pinball and canceled, so there's no way in heck I'm getting that license. So then I'm like, well, I'll make it a spiritual successor, which is Motor City Taxi. That it's basically Crazy Taxi, but instead of based in a fictionalized San Francisco, it's based in Detroit. All the locations are Detroit bars, venues, restaurants, tourist locations, etc. And all the drivers, instead of being random zany characters, are prominent musicians of Detroit. So, you have, like, I want to use Jack White, Aretha Franklin, Lizzo, Grizz, and who else? Did I say Eminem already?
No.
And Eminem, that, like, covering, you've got the Detroit techno, Motown, the rock scene, hip-hop, like, just kind of covering the gamut of, like, the amount of music that came out of Detroit.
Yeah.
And, was inspired by, like, the mentality of Detroit. I thought that'd be really cool, and, make it a game that, someone walks by and hears, respect playing out of it, and they go, what is this? And, want to play it. And so I wanted to make a game that, like, anyone could walk up to and, find something they like about it, because when it comes down to it, no one really cares about a tour of Detroit. No one thinks that, the only reason Crazy Taxi is San Francisco is because of the trolley cars. Like, no one plays it because they won't play Crazy Taxi because they want to see San Francisco. So I'm like, I want to make it something that makes people, like, enjoy playing it and, make it attractive to kids, every generation, that, there's something that they can go, all right, I can vibe with that song and that radio station. So
what touristy locations in Michigan have you chosen? Or I guess Detroit would be more, if you're basing it off of Detroit.
So tourist spots, So, like the tourist locations, which will be a wizard mode, is things like the Spirit of Detroit statue, the Joe Louis Fist, the DIA, which is the Detroit Institute of Arts, for everyone that's not in the Metro Detroit area. Let's see, those are the three in that mode, because every grouping, similar to what game would I liken it to that has that sort of structure, but like each packet of locations has 2 to 3 modes in it, and then there's a wizard for each of those.
Rock band? Right? You go to different cities, you can only get songs in that city.
Yeah, I was thinking like pinball rules has so it's similar. So like how the locations are unlocked is similar to like the Game of Thrones house system.
Okay.
But my rule set at current is like not existent, to the point where I've actually enlisted help to write my rules, because I'm just a garbage player. So a friend of mine, Jess Kent out of Chicago, she's going to be helping me write the rules, and then I'll write the code to her rules, and kind of make it a team effort, because like there's a lot of us in the homebrew community, and it looks like we're just like lone wolves doing our thing, but there's a army behind us, like on online forums and stuff, that we're constantly asking questions and supporting each other.
Now, do you have a background in like design or engineering or anything like that? Because I know if I were to like be like, I'm gonna design a pinball table, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a ringer in that aspect. I went to school for mechanical engineering.
Okay.
With a specialization in, well, not a official specialization, but in my graduating class, I was the electronics guy.
Okay.
That if anyone's project had something that lit up or moved and required power, I was the guy that you bribed with beer to write the code for you. So yeah, I'm kind of like 3D modeling, design, 3D printing, like those are my wheelhouses. So in the pinball, the homebrew pinball online forums, everyone makes fun of me because I way overdo everything. Most guys are putting like space allocation models, which is just like a block that says, hey, the flipper mech is here, you can't put anything here, where I'm like, taking measurements of the mechs and redesigning them, and guys that work at suppliers that have all these files are like, dude, it kills me to watch you do all the work I've already done, but I can't share it. And it's like, it helps me get better at modeling, and it kind of acts as like a physical resume of sorts.
So you're designing this table, and you mentioned you're like, I'm a garbage player, but I don't know about that. How often do you actually go out? Well, how often did you usually go out and play, or did you mainly just play at home?
So my job about a year ago was highly travel, and so like I was involved with the brew tournaments in Ferndale, which awesome tournament. My neighbor used to coordinate it. Now a new guy coordinates.
Oh, Bill's your neighbor?
Yeah, we live like 5 minutes.
Oh wow!
When I moved over here, I don't know if you know Aaron.
Yeah.
When Aaron moved to Florida, I moved to California. So Bill was just like, awesome, I have someone else to carry machines down. And like right before like the whole like quarantine social distancing was kicking in, he's like, hey, I have a problem. I bought another machine, and I'm like, all right, I'll come over, bring it down. 5 days later, it's like, hey, I just got a Jurassic Park. Can you help me move it? I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Come on. But
now, does he pay you in beer too?
Oh yeah. Well, he actually, the playfield that's in Motor City right now, he cut.
Oh, nice.
He's a shop teacher in the Canton area, and so I was showing him how to do some stuff on 3D modeling, showing him a new software package, and then he was like, well, I need to, learn how to use this piece of equipment better. So, let's mock something up. And so that playfield was actually cut by him. So it's really helpful to have connections like that. So.
Yeah, I've been to Brew. Usually I go there every time that I'm up because my office, like we talked about, it's in Farmington. So it's like, 10 minutes, not even, like 5 minutes away from Marvin's. And Brew's not that far away. I made it down to Pinball Pete's when I was up there the last time, which is a unique spot. I liked it. It was a lot of fun, but it draws in, because it's like in the heart of Ann Arbor, it draws in like a very big like college crowd that are not there to play pinball.
Yes, but to go back to, since I completely
sidetracked.
I used to play that tournament a lot, and then with my job, traveling 90% of the time, it made it hard to go to leagues. So I would usually find places around the country to play that, I traveled to, like, the Seattle Pinball Museum. If you've never been out there, absolutely go visit it. The people that run it are wonderful. Like the up-down locations around the country. There's some really cool spots in Iowa. I spent a lot of time in Iowa. So I became really good friends with a couple of the owners out there. And so I don't play as much competitively because I've seen so many people like go, I'm in it for the fun of it, and then just take it way too seriously and just watching that kind of go where it didn't become fun anymore. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna fix them and then go to shows and tournaments and not play. Like I go to Pinburgh now and I don't play. I'm just like the team mom, like back of Cliff Bars, Gatorade, and water for everyone.
So that I'm gonna have to find you this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Be like, Matt, yes. Where's my water? Exactly. Make sure there's a bendy straw in it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I love doing that because, I'm not that great of a player, and so, like, I can have fun with it, but I'm not gonna kid myself in thinking that, I can take on Escher, Elwin, or Jared August. It's like, I might as well just buy them a beer. Well, I can only buy Elwin.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you would want to buy Jared or Escher a beer, but...
Jared's too good of a kid. I don't think he'll ever drink. He's such a good kid.
I know.
Oh my goodness, he's so awesome. He's my favorite at the Embrew tournament. But yeah, I enjoy being the support network, which I was in theater and production, so I'm always behind the scenes.
Stage crew.
So I'm just like, all right, same with Expo. When we did the homebrew booth at Chicago Expo, I had a cooler of water with additives in it that we may not have should have had in there.
It was just water.
A huge box of Cliff Bars, granola bars, and just all this stuff, like, for the homebrew guys. Haggis Pinball gave me a couple keychains because I brought Cliff Bars over to them because they couldn't leave their booth. And Damien and his wife are just absolutely wonderful people. And so I was just like, here's some Cliff Bars. You guys look absolutely exhausted because you're still jet lagged from coming from the other side of the world.
So in all your travels, and I know that I don't travel very often for work, but I know when I do make a point to try and stop at, like, I try and like look up the locations that are there, and it sounds like you did the same thing. So what's the coolest spot that you've ever been to?
So I'll break this down into West, Central, East, because I have favorites for multitudes.
Okay.
West, Seattle Pinball Museum. It's in the International District Chinatown of Seattle. The owners of it are absolutely wonderful, and they keep their games running good, and they have everything lined up by year. From it's a pay one price type place.
Okay.
But so for a lot of players that are really good, they're like, I don't want to pay one price because I can, get a ton of free credits just by playing. But it supports a really good cause, and they're wonderful. Central has to be Logan Arcade. It's from the front, it looks like a hardware store because it was a hardware store, and they just have the coolest collection of games. The owner has a ton of tables, and it's kind of like a curated collection where they'll pull games in and out, like put them together. Like when I think it was Black Knight came out, in the back room they lined up every Steve Ritchie game. It was so cool. And the staff there is wonderful. Their techs are awesome. Their bar manager is just the coolest person ever, and a lot of fun. I actually 3D printed them a custom tap handle that matches. They've got this beautiful brick sign that says Logan Hardware on it, and so I printed a copy of that as a custom tap handle.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they have a very close spot in my heart. And then East Coast, probably Silver Ball Museum. I've only been to the Florida location. I haven't been to their northern location, but their Florida location is really cool. So I would say that.
Yeah, I haven't, I've been to the West Coast, but I was not, well, let me rephrase that. I was into pinball the last time I went to the West Coast when I went to LA, but I literally had like no time to travel at all. It was like we went from the airport, I had to like go to this conference, we were in the conference all day, and then it was like I got there Wednesday, we had the conference on Thursday, and then we left on like Friday afternoon. And it was just, I had like no time to like go out and like, which I'm okay with. I'm not like a huge West Coast person. I don't really like LA, and I've been there more than once. So don't judge me for saying I don't like LA. I've been there more than once, and every single time I haven't had a great experience. However, the Griffith Observatory is really cool. That is probably one of the coolest spots, and I'll say I enjoyed that. But I haven't actually played any pinball out on the West, like past Chicago. Like anything further than that, I've never been to any of the arcades and spots and museums out there. I was looking forward to going to the one in Las Vegas as well as the Neon Museum. I was supposed to go to Vegas this year. I was supposed to go to Vegas this year for my 30th birthday. My dad was gonna take me, but unfortunately now that has been canceled due to the current traveling circumstances. So maybe one day, maybe one day. I'm also not a fan of Las Vegas either. I really am not like a fan of crowds.
Yeah, Las Vegas is fun if you have like a group. The last time I was there, I went with a bunch of my friends from college because there was a hockey tournament going on.
Okay.
And our university was playing in what was called the Desert Hockey Classic. So we were like, all right, we'll go get drunk and watch Michigan Tech hockey. Like, this is awesome.
But I was looking forward to going to the Neon Museum as well as the Pinball Museum out in Vegas. But, maybe sometime soon, I guess. And Florida, not on my radar. Florida's too hot, too humid.
On the topic of Neon, if you haven't, you should follow Ryan Clater of Coin Op Carnival. He works with a guy and designs neon signs.
That is pretty cool.
Gorgeous. And like that's if I'm able to sell Motor City and actually make any money off of it because I've dumped so much into it, that's gonna be a gift to myself is getting a sign made by him of like my Benzik Designs logo, because I had a guy that does vintage sign writing design it, and Ryan's like, well, it looks like a neon sign already, so it's gonna be perfect. Like we just need to figure out when and how much. So he's a great follow.
yeah, I will definitely check that out, and I'll make sure to link him below in the description. So you've been working on this homebrew for like 2 years. So what would be your advice to anybody who was thinking about doing their own homebrew, or what would you warn them of before they start to take the plunge into making their own?
So the first thing, just do it. We're in the era of pinball that homebrew is at its most attainable, and it'll get more attainable as time goes on, but like, we've got guys like Jerry from Multimorphic designing boards that can interface with different Python pinball programming languages like MPF or Skeleton Game. And also we have Aaron Davis with Fast Pinball that makes a similar board in functionality but different architecture, and both are awesome guys that just want to see the community thrive. And if you're interested in homebrew pinball, look up guys like Ed Owens and Pinball Mayhem. He's been putting out a lot of content on how he's doing his homebrew, and hopefully, if everything works right, I'm going to try to partner with him to kind of make some content of like, hey, here's the starting bits of how to make a homebrew, and the different routes you can take to either make it, like, if you want to go full on out right off the gate, or you want to start with something like I've got behind me, which is foam core on a piece of wood with two early solid state flipper mechs that I just hooked up to a 48 volt power supply and tested to flip it. So if I were to say anyone that wants to get into homebrew, reach out to Pinball Mayhem or Multimorphic. Jerry's built a really cool community that is full of guys wanting to do the same thing, and guys that want to help each other out. Lord knows my game would not be as far as it is without those guys. And that's what I would say.
So you mentioned some of the forums that you said you're on, like a bunch of forums. So where could somebody go to find those resources? What forums would you recommend?
So Pinside has a homebrew section where there's a lot of guys, working on games. If you were to post in any of those on one of their threads, or message them and go, hey, who do I need to talk to for this? They'll point you where you need to go. Resources. There's a lot of guys doing streaming now. Guys like Ryan McQuaid with Sonic Spinball. That he started his game as a VPX table. So I did mine hardware because I'm a hardware guy, and he did his digitally and then mapped it over to a physical game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say right off the bat, you could go to Pinside or reach out to you on YouTube. Reach out to Pinball Mayhem. Ed is an awesome resource and a good friend of mine that he's been championing homebrew lately. Like, we had some really cool stuff planned for MGC Expo, the homebrew booth. He really kind of took that and ran with it. We got 10 tables there that were all either heavy re-themes or completely custom games, and that's a collection of games, and almost all of them were working. Like, almost every one of them you could walk up and flip. 40 years ago at Expo, that really wasn't the case yet. Like, the community hadn't gotten there yet. It was still very hard to do, but the tools and the resources are there. So either of those people would be great resources.
Now, do you guys feel like you're competing against each other, or do you feel like you're more of a community that's helping each other out?
More of a community that's helping each other out. None of us, me personally, And, you know, not to speak on anyone else's behalf, but, like, I think everyone's just, like, we're all doing it because we love the hobby and we're slightly insane. And, you know, it's, a lot of us are doing it as, you know, we wanted something that didn't exist. You look at a game like Nightmare Before Christmas by Mark.
Which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yes, that game is so cool. And not only the artwork, but just how it functions.
Yep.
In that there's so many diverters and ways the ball can flip around. It's a really fun shooting game. And it doesn't play like anything else on the market. And, you know, going back to the different control boards and all that, Mark's is a fast game, whereas Total Nuclear Annihilation is a multimorphic control system game. So, you know, the barrier to entry is like really low, and that's kind of like what I'm trying to champion right now. Of like, you know, get out, do it, and there are ways to do it really simply. There are ways that are not simply, but if you like pain and hate yourself, there are wonderful ways to go about it.
Well, yeah, and like that's the, you know, somebody asked me like, what's the biggest thing that you've learned in pinball? And I think the biggest thing that I learned was just to ask, right? If you don't know something, just ask, because it's a community that's so supportive of each other. Yes, of course, it's competitive. I'm one of those people that you're probably talking about that's like, I play for fun, and then I get to Pinburgh and I'm like, why am I doing so bad? And then I have to remind myself it's about having fun. But, you know, in my early pinball career, I guess you could call it, you know, I was just so afraid to talk to, you know, those really good players, because I would just be afraid that they were going to be like, no, I'm not giving you hints, I'm not telling you. But then I learned real quickly that you just have to ask, right? You just have to do it and you just have to ask. And it sounds like obviously the homebrew community is as supportive of just the pinball community in general, where if you need something, there's going to be tons of people that are going to be there to be like, this is how I did it, this is what I would do, or if you needed to get opinion on something, it's incredibly supportive, which is great to hear, because I don't know anything about the homebrew community at all. So
yeah, and the other cool thing I think is that there's a lot of us that are kind of like being jack of all trades right now, like, you know, doing everything. Like, until 2 weeks ago, I was writing my own rules. They were horrible, and I realized that was a problem. And I think a lot of my friends that have talked about wanting to do homebrew, it's like, well, I've never done CAD before, and I've never done electronics before. And Ed Owens had a great interview on another podcast that he basically said, I didn't know CAD. I just cut a piece of wood and used a 30, 60, 90 triangle and just drew what I thought would shoot well. And now Ghost in the Shell, like, every year he brings it out, like, you know, it keeps getting more dialed in as, you know, you do something once and it's like, okay, that shot, okay, well, let's move this, like, you know, a millimeter. I think Gomez says that pinball's a game of millimeters, and, you know, it is. It's, if you move that target just a little bit over, and the roundness of the rubber, if the ball hits it just a little bit different, it's going in a very different location.
Yep.
And so, you know, that's the difference between a shot that rattles if you miss it by a little, and a shot that, if you miss it, doesn't, like, make you pay. And so, like, with that, if you're interested in homebrew,
Bubba's, quit interrupting.
It's like, Mom, you're not talking about me enough. And then,
Yeah, it's probably what it is. He's probably like, hey, just remember, I'm here. I'm here.
In case you know, I have no way of leaving, so I am still here, and I will let you know of my
What, doo-doo?
the CAD experience or whatever. Like, I think I think there's a lot of people that have ideas right now, and they just don't know how to approach it, and, you know, that's where the community can help. There might be a guy that finishes their game, like, you know, once I get this done, I might help some of my friends out on helping get their design kind of laid out. Like, you know, hey, you want to do this? Well, this should probably be here, and do something like that, and try to, you know, make some like video content out of it that, you know, shows the process. One of my friends at Marco Specialties, Kyle, the one that's doing the PinTech series. We have a running joke right now that we want to that he wants to make a homebrew cocktail pinball machine because he loves his night moves. And so I'm like, dude, that would be that's something that the homebrew community hasn't seen yet. Like, let's do it. I will help you out, teach you CAD to do that, because that would be so much fun. And then you only have to design for like 24 inches instead of 46 inches. It's like, man, this is going to be a lot easier. Why didn't I think of that? but yeah, I think in the next year or so, hopefully there'll be a lot more content on, like, you know, how to approach it and that sort of stuff that will make the barrier to entry fall even more. But again, you know, if you have friends on, like, if you see people on Instagram that are, you know, making their own games and you have ideas, like, just reach out. Most of us are pretty chill people. We might be stressed out of our minds trying to get our games running, but, you know, we'll always, I think, you know, not to speak on everyone's behalf, but most of us are pretty forgiving and would always answer questions. Like, that was honestly, I think Scott Tennessee had said on a couple interviews that one of his favorite parts of TNA was watching people play it and watching people enjoy it, or, like, you know, destroy a reactor and seeing their face get all excited.
I love TNA. I think it's a great game.
I love my TNA. I have to load the new code on it because apparently Scott put new light shows, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm probably gonna stream that soon. But yeah, you know, reach out, and, you know, if you're at a show and see a homebrew, talk to the person that made it, because Lord knows that at Expo I went hoarse talking to people. Like, I probably saw half of Expo because I was standing at the booth the whole time and talking to people about homebrew pinball, and you know, I was going to do the same thing at TPF, which I was... Yeah,
I see you're rocking a TPF shirt. Yeah, Kevin actually reached out to me the other day, and I checked in on him to make sure he was doing okay. I said Kevin reached out to me the other day, and I was checking in to make sure he was doing okay too, so...
Yeah, and they just announced that 2021's happening.
Yay!
Today. So that's super good, and, you know, I'm hoping to hear... you know, that MGC will be able to do the same. I know the MGC team's been working tirelessly trying to, you know, cover every base and make sure everyone gets what they need. Lord knows I've dropped probably too much money at both of their merch stores just because it's like, you know, I want to see those shows flourish, and they bring so much joy to me, going to them, experiencing them, and, you know, I wanted to bring my game to both of them and, you know, show it off and, you know, like, promote the hobby. So if you're at shows, you see a homebrew, you're interested in it, ask the person that's standing near it that looks a little bit nervous. If you see a homebrew and there's someone standing within 10 feet of it that looks like they might be concerned something's on fire, that's probably the best. Like, I think Omoto got it on she interviewed me at Expo, and I had the joke all through Expo of, like, well, my game hasn't started on fire, and it's a win. And she was like, why do you keep saying that? I'm like, well, because my game did start on fire.
Oh, no. So what's the coolest themed homebrew that you're excited to see finished? That you can talk about. I mean, I don't know, I don't think you guys have NDAs that you've signed at all.
No, I mean, some guys are quieter than others, you know. Like, I've been pretty public about my game, but I've also, like, technically not done yet. I brought it out to show the process and not actually reveal it. Can you not put me in because I know I'm not going to be Jen danger? It's like, he's got a Twitch army behind him. Please don't let me go against him. And, but, I don't know, Ryan McQuaid with Sonic Spinball. That game looks like a lot of fun. I guess I'll transition the question a little bit into the game I would love to see produced.
Okay.
And that is Nightmare.
Yeah, I have not had the pleasure of being able to play that one in person, but I have seen countless pictures and videos of it, and it looks so freaking cool. And I hopefully we'll be at an expo at one point where maybe he's got it there and I can play it and see it in person. Not only because like the theme itself is, I feel like if I were to make a homebrew, it'd probably be like that theme or like Harry Potter. But you know, I just would be, I would see that and be like, what is this? I am going to play this. This looks like fun. I would definitely be drawn to that theme. So
you're designing a Harry Potter homebrew pinball machine. What's your signature mech? Like, what's your Stern bash toy? Like in the center of the playfield that every Stern has, because you know when you hit Mini Deadpool and he bounces around, it's fun. When you hit Sparky, like what, or like you know Theater of Magic Trunk, or like what's your signature mech that would be like the marquee shot? Oh
my gosh, I feel like it would depend on, are you doing all of the Harry Potters in one game together? Oh, see, if I was doing, but then I could go in and technically if I was like, I'm gonna pick one and be like, that's the only one. But of course, if you're making a Harry Potter table, you have to do all of them together. So there'd be a couple of different ones. I'd probably do a Whopping Willow, right?
Okay.
One that would move when you hit it or something.
So repurpose the Medieval Madness Castle mech and something like that.
That would, yeah, or almost like the mech on the premium JP where the head moves. So it'd have to be something that would like move back and forth because that's what, you know, the Whopping, I don't know how much into Harry Potter you are, but like that's what the Whopping. Okay, you know enough, so that's why I can't like, all right, am I doing this? Then you could go into like, am I doing this on the books? Am I doing this on the movies?
Well, you're the designer.
I know, that's what's so hard, and, you know, and that's what's really hard about choosing like such a broad theme like Harry Potter. You know, choosing something, what else could be a good one? I don't know. Like that would be the one that instantly comes to my mind is like somehow like on a pro it would be stationary, but like on like a premium or an LE it would be something that would move.
Okay.
Which would be, and then get it, you gotta whomp it because it's the Whopping Willow. No? Okay. That's why I'm not a comedian, I guess. Yeah, but there could be just like a lot of different, you know, things you could do. Like I could bring in characters from the books that weren't in the movies. Like Peeves is my favorite character. You do have a Peeves that would just like cause mayhem because he's just, you know, he peeves everybody off. That's why his name is Peeves. Or a Nearly Headless Nick, right? Where the head like actually falls off if you hit it. Like not like moving around like little Deadpool does, but like, do you remember those toys that you had when you were younger that you got in like a gumball machine where you would like press up and it would like die, but then you'd like come back and it'd be like stiff again? It'd be like that. It'd be like if you hit it, like the head kind of like falls off, but not really, because it's Nearly Headless Nick. There's lots of different things that you could do, but I don't think that I would be, if I were to do a homebrew, I don't think Harry Potter would be my like first choice because I would go, it'd be, so the problem that I run into as an artist is I have a really hard time stepping away and saying, that's it. So like I started off college as an art major. You know, I went to school, my concentration was printmaking. You know, I dabbled in painting a little bit, but like, you know, my medium was mainly like doing like lithography and like, you know, carving out and printing things that way. And the issue that you run into is that you start off with a block, right? And you can like carve out, but like the more that you carve out, you know, the more you can't get back. So my problem was stepping back and saying, okay, that looks good, because I would keep going, and I would be like, nah, maybe this. And I would just critique myself so much, because I'm my worst critic, that especially with something as in-depth as Harry Potter, it would never get finished because I'd be constantly being like, well, maybe we could do this. And then there's this, oh, but what if we added this in? And like the rule set would just like blow up from there of just like, I would just be on the rule set for like 4 years of like, oh, we can just add in everything because I want to have everything. But you can't have everything, right? You gotta, I have to have somebody behind me being like, stop, that's enough. Be like, no, just a little bit more. Just, you know, just a tad. No, it's good. No. So that wouldn't be my first one if I was doing a homebrew for the first time. But somebody else can do it, and I'll definitely give you some input. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share? Any recommendations going out to the world right now, or things that you're excited to do once you're able to leave your house?
So if you're interested in homebrew, ask around, give it a shot. There's not much to lose. There's a lot of cool ways you can do it, and I think it's the future of the industry. You know, that's how I think manufacturers are going to vet people now. Like, we've got a thriving homebrew community. We have 2 amazing designers that started as homebrew guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that's a trend that's going to continue because we've got guys making great games, and you know they're coming so much further along, and I think that's really cool. Where
can everybody find you at? So if they want to see, like, you know, you said you stream. Where can they follow you to see your progress on your homebrew, or just your streaming in general?
So I use Twitch TV/Benzik's Pinball. I'm on Facebook with Matt Benzik and Benzik's Pinball. Either of those I put content to, and then my Instagram I think is like Miss Benzik or something. So you know, any of those channels, feel free to link and add me on. I post stupid pinball content, homebrew content, mod content. I do a lot of goofy mods and stuff, like, you know, this Iron Maiden back here. I'm writing an animation generator for a wall hanging for Bill, actually.
Okay.
So taking Python, or taking Blender animations and turning it into light shows for the play field to hang on the wall, with the idea that I can make it do any play field. So I could take like the Bobby Orr I have right there, tell it where all the lights are, and then, you know, put the lights on it, put it on the wall, have it do that, you know, maybe make a full product. So yeah, those are all my socials. Feel free to link at me. Any questions on homebrew, I will gladly answer anything. I love talking about the hobby, and you know, love seeing people make cool things. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for talking about your homebrew. I know I was really excited to talk to you about it, and I can't wait to see the progress, and you'll definitely have to send me pictures of what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Awesome. If you are interested in learning more about the homebrew community or trying to develop a homebrew yourself, feel free to follow any of the links that Matt talked about today. I'll make sure to include those in the description, as well as feel free to reach out to Matt with any questions that you might have. He's a super duper awesome person and is just a wealth of knowledge and wants to just share that knowledge with anybody. So special thank you to Matt for taking the time to talk to me today. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to see when Motor City is finished. If you liked the video that you saw, don't forget to hit that like button, as well as don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you know when new videos get posted. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!